Hello friends and welcome to Average Classes. So how are you guys? Now we are in our module 1 chapter 2. We have studied Pascal's law. Yes, we have studied hydrostatic law. We have studied atmospheric pressure. So now our topic for today is what? Your manometers. Okay. See, basically your pressure measuring devices now, you have manometers and you have mechanical gauges. Gauge point of view, manometers are important. Once you start going to working field, right, you will be working on the DRDO, ISRO, BARC or any PSUs, you will be working, right. So there mostly you will be using mechanical gauges and you remember that. Okay? So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do subscribe. Okay? So manometer, these are the pressure measuring instruments. Okay, they can measure the pressure of gas, they can measure the pressure of liquid as well. But for gas now, remember you need to have a confined cylinder. If your cylinder is not confined, what will happen? The gases will escape. So you need to have a confined cylinder, means closed space, in order to measure the pressure of a gas. Okay? Now pressure measuring instrument, how their working principles? So the working principle is liquid column balance mechanism. What is liquid column balance mechanism? We have studied in Pascal's law. What? A fluid will rearrange themselves unless they satisfy the Pascal law. And if you have a horizontal, at any horizontal plane, if the fluid is continuous and uniform, then at any horizontal plane, any horizontal point, they will apply same pressure. They will have same pressure. So that is what your liquid column balance mechanism. Okay. So now coming to the types of manometer. See, basically two types you have. One is simple, one is differential. Now coming to simple type manometer, you have piezometer, you have U-tube manometer, you have single column manometer. Okay? Detail you will study about each of them. Then in single column manometer you have two types. One is vertical, one is inclined. Why we are going for inclined, that also will study. What is the sensitivity of manometer, that also will study in here. Inclined single column manometer. Okay. So mainly simple will study very detailedly. Okay. Now coming to the differential manometer, same, you connect two piezometer you connect and you measure what is the differential pressure. See, let me tell you, if you are getting confused, how you are measuring something. If I'll ask you to measure 5 centimeter, how you can measure 5 centimeters? Sir, I'll take a ruler. Very good. You will take a ruler. You can go from 0 to 5, correct? Or you can measure from 1 to 6, or 2 to 7, or 3 to 8. Yes or no? So when you are going from 0 to 5, you have to 0 as the reference, so that only 5 centimeter easily you measure. When you are going from 1 to 6, what you took? You took the difference. You took the different. So similarly, sometimes pressure, we measure the pressure by differential pressure, like PA minus PB, PC minus PD, PA minus P naught. These are the kind of problems you might have seen in your undergraduation level. Okay, differential pressure we are measuring. So either we can measure the direct pressure, that we call simple manometer, okay, or you can measure the differential pressure, we call it differential manometer. Okay, you are seeing simple manometer over. Now in differential manometer, connect two piezometers. Okay, connect two U-tube, that is your U-tube differential. Okay, now you have inverted U-tube, ulta kar do U-tube ko, we'll see. Okay, and micromanometer. So these are your differential manometer. What we are going to do is, we are going to study the simple manometer in detail properly. Okay? And as the differential manometer is much related to the simple manometer, we will be trying to solve more numericals from this part. So we can cover both in less time, isn't it? Our objective is what? Our objective is to learn quick and easy. Okay? Go ahead. Now please pause the video and note it down. This is what we are going to study in manometer. It might get little lengthier video. Okay? Please pause the video and note it down. Then we'll start piezometer. Next is your what? Piezometer. Okay. See, some people will say piezometer, sir, it's an L-shaped tube. Correct? No issues. Okay. Or it's a what? Tube open. It's a simple tube which is open at both the ends. Okay. It's a tube, simple tube which is open at both the ends like this. Okay. It's graduated. Sir, we from which university? Arey no yaar. Like, I have a reading scale, means I can note down what is the value. Okay, and one end is connected to the point where the pressure is to be found, and the other end is open to atmosphere. So how it measures the pressure? It measures the pressure by the fluid column, by the height of the fluid column. So it measures the by pressure by knowing the height of the which column? Fluid column. Okay, it measures the pressure by height of the fluid column. So let's see that. How does it that? Okay, see, you take a pipe. You take a pipe. So we have a pipeline here. Da, da, da. Okay, so we have a pipeline here. Okay, now say inside this pipe I have water, pressurized. Water is moving. Sir, how? See, it will move when it has a delta P. Means there is some pressure at which this fluid or water is moving through this pipe. I need to know what is the pressure inside this pipe. So what I'll do, let me take something here, and I have inserted my what? Piezometer here. So I have kept my piezometer here. Now what? This is going up pressurized fluid. So now it will rise here. It will rise. And let us say it has rose up to this. Okay, I have drawn this incline. You can keep it vertical, horizontal also. Okay. So it has rose up to this, and this is the center line of the pipe. And applying my hydrostatic law, I'll know what is this depth h. Okay, I'll know what is this depth h. It's already graduated, right? It's a tube. So now from both this, what I'll come to know? This is, let us say 1, this is 0.2. So P1 minus P2, or because it is center line, okay, directly I am writing the pressure delta P rho G H. Delta P is equal to rho G into H. H you directly got it from here now, so it is the simplest tube. Just directly got the H, put the formula rho G H, your answer is over. You got the answer. Okay, very simplest type. Hence it is written, it is the simplest type, and location you can keep it here, anywhere you can keep this. It will give you the same reading. So some people, this diagram only they draw like this. Okay, you might have seen this. ऐसा होता है ना? This is nothing but when you are seeing the this is the front view. You see from the side view. What you will see in the side view if it is a cylinder, a circle? So you might have seen like this, where this is the center line. This is the center line, and you have your piezometer like this, and you might have take the reading this one H. Yes, okay. Definitely you have gone through you would have gone through like that. Okay. So this is your piezometer. Or in your school you might have took an L-shaped tube. Instead of connecting there, how you are connecting like this? An L-shaped tube. Here also now the pressure will rise. Okay, this angle is 90 degrees. It has to be vertical. You might have gone through that. This is also a piezometer, 90 degrees. Okay, L-shaped tube you have connected, and from this height h, directly you can say what is the value of the pressure. Simply put the formula P is equal to rho G H. You know already the density of the fluid. Whatever the fluid inside, same fluid only goes here. That's what I have written in the second point. Same fluid only goes up here, right? So you know rho, you are in earth. So G is 9.81. H is the height. Directly you will get the height, put the formula, get the answer. That why it's the simplest type. Okay. Then sir, why we are not using everywhere? Why we have so many names? It has some demerits also. For example, okay, I hope you would have noted down because I need to erase it. Okay. So it has some demerit also. For example, sir, it can only measure low pressure or medium pressure. It cannot measure high pressure. So it has some demerits. What is that? It can only measure low pressure and medium pressure. It cannot be used for measuring high pressure. Okay, can't be used for measuring what gas. क्यों? Why? Because gases will escape. So you cannot use it for measuring gas. It's open end, right? One end is open to the atmosphere. See, this is atmosphere. This is what? Your atmosphere. So one end is open to the atmosphere. Because one end is open to the atmosphere, gases will flow. So you cannot measure gas. Okay? It gives you gauge pressure. Directly it gives what pressure? Gauge pressure. Pressure. Okay? Gauge pressure. That is P equal to rho GH. That's our formula. Got it? Huh? So, yes. So that's why we need some other methods, other manometers to use, to be used for high pressure, to measure little accurately. Okay. Sometimes for gate students. Okay, I'm erasing this. Okay. Good. Sometimes in gate, they'll also give a diagram like this. Don't get confused with some other thing. Okay, please, it's a request. So sometimes in gate they'll give you like this diagram. You have a bigger container here, you have a liquid here, okay, and you have connected something like this as a, okay, this is your pressure. So here what? Now the liquid will rise. Let us say it has rose up to this. So this is your H. In this case, this is your H. Same formula, P equal to rho GH. P equal to rho GH. Why this? You keep up something, a vacuum pump level. First you suck out all the air it is possible. Then what? It will let it raise by its own. But it will get you the atmospheric pressure in such case. Suppose here also you have any pressure. So then this will rise continuously and it will show you what is the pressure. PA equal to rho GH it will show. Understood? Because of this pressure it will rise. Because here what? Atmospheric pressure. What is atmospheric gauge pressure? 0. What is atmospheric gauge pressure? Atmospheric gauge pressure is 0. So here you have some pressure. Correct? So that pressure only it will show here. Gate. This is specially for gate. Tricky question sometimes they ask. Okay? Don't confuse it with some other kind of manometer, but it's a piezometer only. It's not a differential manometer or U-tube manometer, nothing like that. It's a piezometer. See, L-shaped tube. Okay? I hope you got it, piezometer. Okay? Pause the video, note it down. Good. Next we'll go for U-tube manometer. Next topic is your U-tube manometer. Okay? So, see, you are watching this is U-tube. Okay, very good. So, this is a U-shaped manometer. U-shaped. Okay? I have kept this because my formula, my expression is I want to connect this. Instead of that, this is also not required. Sometimes you will find that. So, you have two limb, left limb and right limb. Okay? And the fluid inside is known as manometric fluid or rho m I am writing. That is density of manometric fluid. Remember, if I am writing SM means what? S is for specific gravity. S is for specific gravity of your manometric fluid. Sir, what is specific gravity or relative density? That is density of manometric fluid by density of your any standard fluid. In our case, what is the standard fluid we are taking? Water. Okay, correct. Now let us say you have a pipeline. Okay, you have some pipeline like this. It's going. Here you want to connect your manometer. You are connecting your manometer like this. Okay. So to show the diagram, we are taking the side view. Okay. So let us say the side view is like this. Okay. Got it? Okay. Let us say this has a liquid. This point is A, and it has a fluid. And let us say the density of the fluid is rho A, and the specific gravity of the fluid is SA. Okay. Now what I have done, I have took my manometer and connected here. I have took my manometer and I have connected my manometer here. You understood now why I have given that left side thing? So now I have connected my manometer like this. Now what will happen? Yes. Now what will happen? This manometer already has a manometric fluid. Correct? It already had a manometric fluid. Now you have pressure at a pressurized fluid. This fluid will try and push the manometric fluid. Now this pressure will try to push the manometric fluid. That's why the liquid column, which was balanced because of the Pascal's law, will now little what deviate because you have now entered a new fluid which has a density rho A. Okay, which has a density rho A. So now this fluid in the pipeline, let us say it has pushed the manometric fluid till this. Okay, now from here you have your manometric fluid. The blue line is for manometric fluid, the black line is for the fluid inside the pipeline. So now on the right limb, the fluid will increase, or the level of fluid will increase in the right limb. Let us say it has increased till this. What is this? Pipeline. What is here? Open to atmosphere. That is, let us take P naught is the pressure. What is the atmospheric gas pressure? 0. What is the atmospheric gas pressure? 0. Okay. And this height has come to a height, let us say H. क्या लेंगे बोलो? H1. We'll take it as H1. Okay. And from here it has rose a height of H2. Okay, from the center line it has rose a height of how much? H2. Okay. Or we'll write the total height of the manometric fluid is Hm. The total height of the manometric fluid is what? Hm. What is the density of manometric fluid? Sir, rho m. What is the specific gravity? Sm. What is specific gravity? Density of matter by density of water. Remember, in order to measure this kind of pressure, right? Always you try to remember this. The density of manometric fluid should be more than the density of this fluid. Okay? Try to keep this. The density of manometric fluid, keep it more than the density of the fluid itself. Okay. Now what our main objective, sir? Our main objective is to measure the pressure at A. Now we will call whom? Pascal law. Hey Blaise Pascal, please help us. What the Blaise Pascal has said? What is the Pascal law has said? If you have a continuous mass of homogeneous liquid or homogeneous fluid, the pressure on the horizontal level are same. Let us say we are giving it a left limb L, we are taking it a right limb R. So the pressure on L is because of the upward pressure. Okay, and the upward pressure of this pressure on the right hand side is because of the pressure on the right hand limb above. Here and here pressure are same because of Pascal law. Left limb is pressure because of PA and pressure because of the height H1. Right limb is because of the atmospheric pressure P0 and the pressure here. What? And the pressure on the right limb column. Okay, or the pressure on the mercury or a manometric column on the right hand side. Now what I am going to say is, try to remember it very carefully. Okay, I am gonna erase it. I might need it. Got it? Okay. So now we'll write gauge equation. Now we'll write what? Your gauge equation. See, remember your gauge equation. Remember this. Don't forget this. Gauge equation. Okay? Whenever you are going upward, it's negative. If you are going like taking it for downward, that is positive. This pressure is how? Depth. This is. Okay, so it is below the center line kind of thing. What you call? Below. H1. I am not going up. If it is inverted, I will take upward case. It is not inverted U2, right? So I will take downward positive. So that is the gauge equation. Don't forget. Now let us write our Pascal's law. That is, pressure on the left limb is equal to pressure on the right limb. Okay? What is pressure on the left limb? Sir, PA. Very good. PA plus, because you are plus, you are taking downward. You are coming like this. So that is plus, positive. Downward is positive, upward is negative. Simple as that. Okay? Downward is positive, upward is negative. Okay. So pressure PA plus, what is the pressure because of this? Sir, rho G H1. Wrong. What is the density of this? Rho A. Now pay attention to what are the types of fluid. Now there are two types of fluid. In case you might have three types of fluid. So rho, you cannot only write rho GH, rho GH, rho. No, you pay attention to the density rho A and up to what height the density is. That is H1. Okay, is equal to right hand side column. Is equal to right hand side column. Right hand side column, what you have, sir? We have atmospheric pressure P0. Very good. Plus how much? Rho M G Hm. Hm equal to H1 plus H2 in this case. Okay. Rho M is what? Density of the manometric fluid. G into Hm. So what is your pressure at A? Sir, PA is equal to, what is atmospheric gauge pressure? Atmospheric gauge pressure is 0. So I am neglecting that. Okay? Because of atmospheric gauge pressure. What I got? Rho M G Hm minus rho A G H1. Rho A G H1. Or can I write rho M as Sm? Yes or no? If it is given density of your density of matter by density of water. So if I take the G common, what I got? Rho M Hm minus rho 1 H1. Or I can also write PA is equal to, take G common, Sm Hm minus S1 H1. Okay. Normally in your gate, the options will be in terms of specific gravity. The options will be in terms of specific gravity. Hence, I want to write the answer in terms of specific gravity. So the pressure at A, because the pressure, this much pressure at A, it has pushed and disturbed the manometric fluid. So that manometric fluid on the right hand side has increased. So that manometric fluid on the right hand side has increased. So, sir, is there any definite length of this, manometric, your U-tube manometer? See, it depends. It depends. At the same time, you cannot go for infinite, right? So, what you will do if you have very high pressure to measure, you will go for multi-limb. You will go for what? Multi-limb. Here we have only two limbs to measure high pressure. For high pressure, you can use what? Multi-limb U-tube manometer. Okay? Instead of two limbs. Got it? Simple. Left side pressure equal to right side pressure. Utna hi karna hai, nothing else. Please pause the video and note it down. Pause the video and note it down. The next topic is your single column manometer. Okay? It's similarly like a U-tube manometer with some modification. The modifications being, we have a shallow reservoir here. We have a shallow reservoir here, and what is the area of the reservoir? The area of the reservoir is capital A, and the area of your tube, the tube is your small a, and remember this area of tube is very, very smaller than the area of the reservoir itself. Okay, so that now you can add, you can go for little more higher pressure, you can measure through this. Now, same thing. Now this is my pipeline. This is your what? Pipeline. Okay. Now I have connected my single column manometer to this pipeline. Okay, I'll tell you why it is known as single column manometer. I'll tell you by the end. Okay, so now because you have connected to the pipeline, this pipeline has some pressure. Because of that, it will blow. See, it's like a balloon. You take a balloon and you blow it. Okay, or you blow through a pipe and all. What happens? You apply pressure, right? So this pipeline is already, see, your pipeline is already passing, a fluid is passing through this pipeline. Okay, this fluid has some pressure. Its side view only this. Okay, and it applies a pressure. Because of that pressure, now it got deviated. It got deviated. Earlier in U-tube manometer, what happened? It got deviated in the left column, then in right column it got increased because the area was same. Now here what? I have increased the area. I have increased the area. So here the delta H will be same, very less, but the height on the right column will be more. But what is same? Both the cases, U-tube manometer and the single column manometer, the volume has to be the same. The volume of the liquid you have inserted here, the same volume only, it lifted on the right hand side. The volume being the same. So if you will apply for the volume, what is your volume on the left hand side? Sir, volume on the left hand side is area multiply the depth. That is your delta H. What is the volume of the right hand side? Sir, area into the height it rose. How much height is rose? H2. See, I have not took from this. I have took the H2 from the initial position because it has came back by delta H. Because of that, the height has increased till H2. That's why the line I have to see the red line. Okay, very distinctly I have written that or made it clear by blue is after, red was before. So before it was in this condition, after this has applied some pressure, the rise of manometric fluid on the right hand side column is H2. Okay, so that's why how much volume came here, the same volume only it went there. Okay, so A into delta H is equal to small a into H2. Volume is same. So this implies what is your delta H? What is your delta H? Sir, delta H equal to small a by capital A multiplying H2. Small a by capital A multiplying H2. What is the small a by capital A? It's the ratio of area. Ratio of area. This comes in, RRB, SSC, JEE. Sometimes in GATE also 1 mark they will ask you. What is the delta H? Okay. What is the delta H they will ask? Okay. So I need to erase this. I need to erase the left hand side. So please note it down before I erase it. Please. Written? Very good. Now see, before writing the gauge equation, I want to draw your attention towards something which we have already studied in your properties of fluid. Okay, your properties of fluid, first lecture. See, what we say, rho is the density, S is the specific gravity or relative density. S is nothing but density of fluid by density of some standard fluid. Here we are taking water. So if I am writing rho or if you are writing S, you understand it's only a matter of 1000 kg per meter cube multiply. Okay, density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube. So then W or gamma, which is weight density. Weight density is nothing but rho into G. We have written that weight by volume. Weight equal to mass into gravity by volume. Mass by volume is density. So weight density is W or gamma is equal to rho into G. Be careful in your GATE exam. In your exam, the options may be in these three. It may be in terms of density. It may be in terms of S. It may be in terms of W or gamma. Mostly it will be either in terms of specific gravity or in terms of weight density. Remember that. Okay? So don't get confused when you have a weight density and in the equation there is no G. Because weight density takes care of the rho and G. Because rho specific gravity also contains S, so weight density can also be written in terms of S into G, but we have to multiply 1000. When it's numerical, you have to take care of these things, but only if it is the options, okay, what is the equation, okay, or what is the pressure. So in such cases, be careful. That's why I have written here density, specific gravity or relative density and weight density. Don't get confused. Okay, now we'll write our gauge equation. Okay, equation at A for A. We are writing the gauge equation. Okay, taking again water column. Same, remember your Pascal. What your Pascal say? So this is open to atmosphere. Need not to write. This is your open to atmosphere. That is P8. P80M. Okay, open to atmosphere. So now we'll write the gauge equation. If we write the gauge equation, what is this fluid? Sir, this is same fluid. Continuous mass of fluid, correct? Homogeneous fluid. So pressure at this point on the left hand side, okay, this is let us say L, will be same on the pressure on the right hand side. Will be the same pressure on right hand side. Okay? So let us write now the gauge equation. So what is your left side pressure? So left side pressure is PA plus the density. What is the density we are writing? Rho 1. Okay, rho 1 multiply G into height H1 plus how much H? Plus delta H. H1 plus delta H. ठीक है, लिख लिया? Very good. Is equal to, go to the right hand side. Right hand side what we have, sir? We have PATM. That is atmospheric pressure. That is atmospheric pressure. Plus density. So density is rho m G into H2 plus delta H. H2 plus your delta H. ठीक है, H2 plus your delta H. Understood? H2 delta H. I am writing atmospheric pressure. See, whenever I am writing atmospheric pressure, this PA, whatever answer you will get, PA will be your absolute. We know what is absolute pressure, sir. Gauge pressure plus atmospheric pressure. Okay, but what is atmospheric gauge pressure? Sir, atmospheric gauge pressure is 0. Very good. Now PA. PA is equal to, okay, what is this? Sir, rho m G. Okay, can I write rho m into G from next time onwards? I am writing rho m into G as Wm or gamma m as per your convenience. Shall we go for Wm? Huh? Rho m into G, I'll write what? I'll write now. What I'll write? Sir, from now onward, I am writing Wm. Okay, Wm H2 plus Wm delta H. Wm delta H. Very good. Now, this one come this side. So minus rho 1 into G. Can I write rho 1 into G as W1? Okay, I am writing in terms of weight density. So W1 H1 minus W1 delta H. So this implies PA. So what is this PA? Gauge pressure, because I am talking atmospheric as 0. Okay, PA is nothing but my gauge pressure. So here delta H, delta H. Take delta H common. Take delta H common. What you got? Sir, if I take delta H common, it is Wm minus W1. Wm minus W1. Very good. Very, very good. Plus Wm H2 minus W1 H1. Minus W1 H1. So what is delta H? So delta H equal to small a by capital A into H2. Small a by capital A into H2. But we have already told that the area of the tube is very, very smaller than the area of the reservoir. So I can neglect this. This implies PA is equal to delta H, right? Small a by capital A multiply H2 into Wm minus W1 plus Wm H2 minus W1 H1. But because it's a very small quantity, I'll multiply it, I'll make it to 0. If I'll make it to 0, what happens to this term? Sir, this entire term will now become 0. Entire term will become now 0. So I'm continuing there. I hope you have noted it down. The good thing about online classes is anytime you can pause the video and note it down. That's why I'm continuously telling pause the video and note it down. Okay. So if you have noted it, let me erase this. Okay, let me erase this. I have to apply a high amount of shear force in order to erase this. Okay, this erasing part took some time. Okay, acha, see this. So what we got from here, your PA is equal to, we got PA is equal to Wm H2 minus W1 H1. This is what we got our, okay, PA. So we can also write in terms of PA is equal to, if I remove the W, yes, what I can write? Sir, W equal to rho into G. So rho m H2 minus rho 1 H1, now taking G common out. Okay? I can also write the pressure at A is in terms of Sm H2 minus S1 H1 multiplied by G. See, you have to decide in exam what they have asked. Suppose the options are in terms of weight density. So this is your option. Options are in terms of density. So this is your answer. Options are in terms of specific gravity. So this is your answer. Okay. So while solving numerical, go for this. This is the safest one. Okay. No, what you call 1000 etc. are not there. So you can solve numericals with the help of this. Put the W equal to rho into G, or use this formula while solving numerical. So this is your pressure at A for single column manometer. Now we'll take a case. Let us say a gas is floating through this limb. A gas is floating through the limb. Means you are taking a gas. So what is your, let us say the S1 being your gas. What is the density of gas? It's normally very less. Normally very less. If you'll compare what is your density of air? Sir, 1.28 or 1.3. What is your density of water? 1000 kg per meter cube. How many times more? Nearly 800 times more. Nearly how many times more? 800 times more. And here my manometric fluid is normally your mercury. Means 800 into 13 you multiply. 800 means more than 1000 times, that is higher. The density of manometric fluid, if you are taking a gas, is nearly more than 1000 times higher. That is 1 by 1000, 0.001. So hence we can say if there is a gas which is floating through this manometer, then your S1 will be very less than your Sm. S1 will be very less than Sm. Only if you take water, it is nearly 800 into 13, it's 10,000. More than 10,000 times. 0.0000, 0.301. So S1 is very less than S. That's why when we compare this, we can neglect. So this implies S1 H1 will write near to your 0, or you divide it by Sm. So what you will get in this case? Pa is equal to Sm into H2 into G. Sm into H2 into G. Or we can write Pa equal to rho m H2 into G, or Pa is equal to Wm into H. Wm into H2. Why you are writing this, sir? Because see, only one reading is required. Only one reading is required to tell me the pressure. Now I do not need 2 or 3 readings. I need now, if there is a gas or if there is a fluid which has very low density compared to the manometric fluid which is flowing through the pipe, okay, then I need only one reading. I need only one reading to tell you the pressure. That's why it is known as your single column manometer. One column reading is only required. Single column doesn't mean only one column. There are 2 columns only, 2 limbs only, but only one column reading is required. Only one column reading is required to tell me the pressure. Hence the name is given as single column manometer. Okay, good. Pause the video, note it down. The theory has been written. Okay, so लिख लो. It's a U-tube manometer with some modification. When gas is floating through pipe, then H1 will become very small, as S1 is small. Okay? And only one column reading is required for calculation. Hence, it is named as single column manometer. Okay? You can pause it and note it down. 3 points. So now let's talk about your inclined single column manometer. The only difference is left hand side is same. Okay? Only in the right hand side you have a inclined tube. Earlier it was a vertical tube. Now it is a inclined tube, and we will do the analysis. Everything is same, ditto. How you proceed, like that only. From gauge equation, everything you proceed. What we got from your vertical tube, we got the Pa equal to H2Sm minus H1 S1 into G. Yes or no? In this case, that there H2 was vertical, here it is inclined. So now we'll see how much is this inclined value. Okay. So what is this angle? Theta. If this is L, what is this? Sir, this is L cos theta. What is this? L sin theta. So now your H2 is nothing but what? L sin theta. So in terms of H2, what I will write? So Pa is equal to L sin theta Sm minus H1 into S1 G. S1 into S1 G. Now if you are taking gas whose S1 is very less than Sm, so we can say H1 and S1 equal to, we can make it 0. So this implies what you got your Pa? Sir, Pa is equal to L sin theta multiplied by Sm into G. This is your pressure. Pa equal to L sin theta. Pa equal to L sin theta Sm into G. Okay. So what if now if you compare your Pa to this one. Okay. If you are comparing your Pa to the previous one. Okay. Previous one, what you got in case of vertical? Sir, vertical I got H2 Sm into G. If both you will compare, what you got? What you got? You got L by, you got H2, sorry, just a minute, sorry. Okay, you got, L by H2, you got, what you got? L by H2, okay, this came this side, sin theta went that side, is nothing but 1 by sin theta. What you got? L by H2 is equal to 1 by sin theta, isn't it? See, your H2 equal to L sin theta, so L by H2 equal to 1 by sin theta, which means, that means what? Remember, that means, remember, your now L is equal to H2 upon sin theta. L equal to H2 upon sin theta. Why I am trying to say, any angle of theta between 0 to 90, what is your sin theta value? Is always less than equal to 1. Sin theta value is always less than equal to 1. Means this value, the denominator value is less than 1. The denominator value is less than 1. If the denominator value is less than 1, your L is always greater than H2. L is always greater than H2. That means for same pressure at point A, that means for same pressure at point A, your inclined tube manometer will have a greater reading compared to your vertical tube manometer. Compared to the vertical tube manometer. Okay, that means if the pressure at A is small, you should go for an inclined tube manometer rather than going for a vertical tube manometer. And this also indicates that your inclined tube manometer is more sensitive. Inclined tube manometer is more sensitive compared to your vertical tube manometer. I'll write the note. These 2 points, whatever I am saying, I'll write after this. Okay, just you need to understand first. Note to aap likh loge. Okay. So how much time the sensitivity more? The sensitivity is 1 by sin theta times more than the 1 by sin theta times more than the vertical tube manometer. So your inclined tube manometer is more sensitive, can measure more accurate pressure. Hence, if the gas here it's very low density gas, instead of using or here the pressure is less. If you have a very less pressure on this pipeline, this is what your pipeline. Suppose in this pipeline you are going through a low pressure. This implies you should use inclined tube manometer, okay, which has high sensitivity and can measure low pressure more accurately compared to your vertical tube manometer. Okay, got it? Now pause the video and note it down. Next, I am writing the notes, whatever I told you, that I'll write note because it's very, very, very important. 1 mark point of view, your SSC, RRB, PSU exams, okay, AE, assistant engineer, assistant executive engineer, all state government PSCs, okay, this bit question comes from here, okay. Numerical you may get in GATE. Please note it down, then we'll write the theory of this. So now please note down these 2 points, okay. That is, for the same pressure at point A, the reading in inclined case will be more than the reading in your vertical case. And if the pressure at A is small, so which you have to use, inclined single column manometers would be preferred. Okay, and this equation 2 also shows, okay, inclined manometer is more sensitive compared to your vertical manometer. And how many times the sensitivity is more? The sensitivity is more 1 by sin theta times compared to the vertical manometer. Okay, with this, okay, I'm not coming into the frame, you note it down. With this, your manometers, like simple manometers, are over. Differential manometer will be doing in the numerical section, okay. And we have some other pressure measuring instruments, that is your mechanical gauges, okay. That just I'll take 2 minutes and I will tell about the mechanical gauges, okay. Good. Now, as I have told before, if you are working in any organization, you mostly be using mechanical gauges. ठीक है? So the mechanical gauges principles are, see, it's very simple. First of all, there will be a pressure response element. The pressure response element is also known as your elastic element. ठीक है? Now, when the pressure is applied, this elastic element will deflect. So when it will deflect, it will push. Okay? It push the elastic element so that it will deflect or move more and more. So, but now the deflection will be magnified using. I'm just going through, you know what you call. I'm not going through detailedly. That whatever the deflection you have, that will be magnified in terms of a suitable mechanical mechanism. Okay? Now then that will deflect the pointer. That will deflect the pointer on the screen, and you can see, okay, 8 bar pressure, the pointer will come and stay at the 8 bar. These all are gauge pressure. Okay, these all are gauge pressure, and you can note it down the 8 bar pressure. That's why you can take the reading directly. So normally we have a Bourdon tube or a diaphragm or a bellow. Bourdon tube, normally the cross sectional is elliptical. You have a elliptical cross section. Okay, when you give pressure, what, this cross section will become circular. Okay, so you can use air or gas pressure through the Bourdon tube pressure gauge. You can find it very widely. You will use the Bourdon tube pressure gauge. You can find in your day-to-day life, if you see surrounding now, whoever is dealing with pressure, they will be having a Bourdon tube pressure gauge. Okay, next is your diaphragm. See, diaphragm is nothing but an elastic material. Okay, it will be an elastic material. You can have a metal also, elastic metal also you can use for this. Okay, you can use very negative pressure also, you can use diaphragm. Bellow, if you are going for altitude, if you are going for high altitude, you can use bellow. Altitude, you can use diaphragm also for altitude operation. And bellow, expansion joints. Your expansion joints, you can use bellows. Okay, so with this, your manometer, that is pressure measuring instruments, over. See, manometers normally you will be getting question. I know the video has come little lengthy video, but see, those who are going for only 10-15 minutes kind of a video, now you do not, if you do not have patience for staying 45 minutes, 1 hour of a video, how you are going to write 3 hours of exam? You have to be dedicated. So if you have watched throughout the video in a single attempt and you have reached here, clap for yourself. You have done a very good job. Okay, so now keep practicing. Okay, watch all the previous videos. Please give me comments, any doubts, anything, please write in the comment section, and keep learning. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.